Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Shuaib Siddiqui, and I'm with i2CAT. I'm working as a senior researcher. So let me just put a little perspective, because we have seen really good talks earlier coming from Intel, BT. So there's a vendor perspective, operator perspective, and Huawei as well. So the work you're about to see that we'll present is coming from a project, an innovation action sanctioned by the European Commission under the Horizon 2020 program. So I don't know if you know about it. I'm just going to quickly paint a picture here. Horizon 2020, there's R&D projects that sanctions over there. Within that program, we have a sub-program of 5G, phased out into 3 phases. This project, 5G City it's called, is the phase 2 project that we are currently executing. So this is work in progress, but this idea of neutral host is the main focus of the project. We are doing a lot more other stuff within the project, but this is the main thing that we'd like to present here. Okay, the main motivation behind neutral host, not a new concept, like we say, okay, this came up in the project. No, that's not true. But I think 5G kind of breathed a new life into it with the technologies it brings with it. And you'll see it further down in my presentation as well. And also the promises 5G has made so far of ubiquitous coverage, so much bandwidth, ultra low latency, low latency and stuff, which is going to kind of compel the telecom providers to have a massive rollout of small cells, the coverage that we are talking about. And this kind of triggers the whole cycle in it. So what would that mean? So when this deployment they require, of course, now with this, the network sharing becomes very key for this deployment, because not everyone is going to start deploying all those small cells everywhere, because you wouldn't have access to it, first of all. So network sharing, network infrastructure, I deliberately put the word infrastructure here instead of just putting network. It's not just the wireless access or core that we're talking about to be shared, but we have to kind of adopt this network sharing model to the cloudification and virtualization that has been going on. So we have to consider that when we talk about network sharing about it. And that kind of really, makes then the neutral host model kind of important, which is, also known as the open access model before, so with the network sharing. So this is kind of, the one thing's triggering another. So very loose definition that we're considering in the project. What is a 5G neutral host? Somebody with an infrastructure that can slice it up and lease it to third parties. That could be an operator, could be a service provider. And when I am saying service, I'm using this term. I know this is SD and NFE Congress. The word service provider really refers to operators, but also to application service that could just use the service. But again, there are ifs and lots of ifs and buts to it that we have to consider, and that I would like to expose in my presentation. An example is like this: an infrastructure owner that owns certain infrastructure now has to go in, deploys these small cells maybe, and then with these leveraging on the technologies I mentioned, virtualization, and Claire very well mentioned in her talk in the earlier, that we have to really look into the virtualization at the wireless access. That has to be the true. I'm not going to use the word the keynote from the Orange used, fake virtualization. I'm not going to repeat that, but we really have to look into the the virtualization at the access. Okay, that will enable it. Now, what do I mean by smart city push? So, like I mentioned earlier, that this massive rollout, then network sharing, this puts the municipalities in a very good position because of the 3 main reasons I put over here. One is mainly because they own most of the nicest spots in the urban space. With a small cell, which will be a much more dense deployments we'll be looking at, I don't think there's one telecom operator or one that could have access to everywhere, and they can roll out the whole infrastructure for themselves only. So this puts municipalities in a really good position to have this opportunity. I am still calling it an opportunity for municipality, because this is one of the challenges I come down later, is for them to change the mindset now, because they are kind of a new entrant into this domain, being a municipality. But this is what we are looking into this project as well. And as a part of the consortium of the project, we have like 3 municipalities on board already. So they are kind of working with us, and they are interested. I will present an example of one of them later on. Because they own and manage best urban spaces, this is one thing that puts them ahead. And the digital transformation, so we already know from the European Parliament, every country, they have the 5G node mandate, and the cities are pushing for it. And they are themselves going through this digitization, although it's just for city services. They have their micro data centers, their data centers, so they are kind of already on the way. So this is another opportunity that 5G brings to you, a bit more investment, or another business model we can think into, can allow them to maximize what they are investing in their infrastructure. And also kind of, because in this word neutral host, neutral is the biggest challenge. Like how do you, you confirm the trust, okay, the neutral, the neutralness, if I can use the word, is confirmed. So, but then municipalities looking into the well-being of the citizens only, and this can they can be trusted with this. But of course, we would need mechanisms and stuff within the platform to ensure that it's neutral for all. Here I'm just trying to portray the evolution the cities are going, So on the very left that you see, it's not, I think it doesn't exist anymore. It's like, if you're for any city service, at a data center, you have a different sets of rack for one kind of service, an application, their management stack as well, and then even on the lamppost, every service have their own deployments going on. So now with the 5G and the tsunami of different kind of services coming to it, I don't think this is at all feasible. Moving on to in the middle, this is kind of what most cities have now. They have their own data centers, application, and the service virtualized. But still on the edge or on the lamppost, like mapping onto the city, we are missing the sharing, the virtualization. So it's still pretty crowded on the edge. And now this is what the 5G would bring to the city. Okay, you virtualize the data center, but also on the very edge, which means not just the RAN side, but also the edge computing, that you have to bring it here. But of course, all these technologies come with their own challenges, and it's not that simple. And this is my understanding that that's what 5G is doing, trying to bring all these together. It's not just one thing. So this is like, the evolution we are looking. A very simple reference model, so no rocket science here. Simple, what we're looking here is infrastructure owner, that could be the municipality we are assuming to be. And they have a neutral host platform or a solution. That's what the project is trying to develop and test as a proof of concept. And this neutral host platform would allow them to slice up whatever the infrastructure below is and the services they can offer. And this is offered to virtual network operator, mobile virtual network operators. And then again, this interaction on the top over here is, okay, so there was a good question before, I think the gentleman left, about, he was asking about the scheduling of the slices and how it could be done. So the thing here, what we are considering in this project is let me use the word tenant for the slice user who's going to be using the slice would request, hey, that's what I need. In that particular area where the municipality or wherever the presence here in terms of infrastructure. That is, the neutral host would be exposing the infrastructure available to them. And then, okay, for that part of the street, I would need this here, this. I will show you a dashboard that we have envisioned for this platform, and with the different view, one is for the municipality view, what they would like to look at in terms of management, and what a slice user or the mobile virtual network operator would like to see when they are managing their slice only. And also the service content and providers, of course, when you take a slice, you're gonna deploy a service and provide it to your users. So this could be just the interaction between the operator and them, but this is the main when you're creating the slice and making it available for them. This could change a little bit on the left. So this is service development. So this is fine. You get the slice, and you can deploy the service you have. Another thing that we're looking into this project is to kind of encourage the development of 5G services. So here is where the NFV, really helps in, kicks in here, and also the MEC side. And I will talk more on later this in this project. This another thing that we're trying to attempt is to merge of NFV and MEC. I don't know if some of you attended the workshop from i2CAT the first day. So I was really it was very reaffirming the work we're doing is very along with what i2CAT has in mind. So this is again to, kickstart an ecosystem of service developers that can, innovate, develop services that could be easily deployed on this network neutral host platform. So the idea here is that not just to have a platform and put it there and then these poor guys are struggling with deploying their services, So we also provide an SDK that you can help you to develop your service that you can easily deploy on this platform. So this is to, complete the whole cycle. Now, a bit more on the project. So this is just a concept, that what are we thinking and going forward within the project. This project, again, like I said, the main idea is to design, develop, and deploy this, neutral host platform, which includes cloud stretched all the way down to edge, and to do it in 3 different cities: Barcelona, Bristol, and Lucca. Like I mentioned earlier, the 3 municipalities are on board with this. Another one, this is I'll go into more the 3-tier architecture we are considering in the cities. MEC node virtualization. This is, of course, and guest optimization. So we all know at the edge, we don't have the luxury of putting out gigabytes or even megabytes of virtual machines. In order to maximize how much VMs you can push in or fit in at the servers at the edge, we are looking into guest optimization, and the partner here working is NEC, and if you already know the unikernel, the solution they have, which is we developed a firewall which amount into megabytes, less than double-digit megabytes. So it's another thing we're looking into this project. Network virtualization at the edge. So we are looking into 2 things. One is the small cell. In fact, luckily I have the partner, the Acceleron, who is working on this in this project with us in the room. And also on the Wi-Fi side, virtualizing the WLAN as well. So this is the 2 access technologies we are looking into within this project for this. And of course, scalable management and orchestration, service programming for this SDK. And again, one big objective we have is the rollout in the cities. Because usually European projects, you just do it, a lab, a demo, and you're done. But in this project, we are being a bit more ambitious, rolling out these, let me say, pre-5G services in the cities. This is the 3-tier architecture we are considering in the project: a data center, edge, in the street cabinets, and then on the lamppost, what we are planning to hang the small cells and the Wi-Fi's. We are considering x86 as well as ARM single board computers at the edge. So not to scare you, but this is the main big architecture. So what I want to point out is in this project we are looking at the service layer, the orchestration and control layer, and as well as at the infrastructure layer. So and I will go in detail I will focus more on the orchestration and control layer, and so this is the different layers that the project is touching upon. And now this slide is we're trying to show what technologies are the enablers for the neutral host concept. So that's why I said the G and the technology it brings with it enables it. So network slicing, this concept, of course, I think this is at the core of neutral host. Function virtualization with NFV, which is rapid deployment of network services. Edge computing, we all know the benefits of that. And this is what we're trying to attempt to merger of these 2. And of course with the SD and the programmable networks. So with these all combined, and packed into the neutral host platform, we are able to enable, or we will be able to do that. Now I'm zooming into our orchestration layer very quickly. So this is the point where I mentioned for our NFVO, we have taken etc OSM as for the main orchestrator. And here this small LED that you see, this is the thing we are trying to attempt is to merge NFV MEC. Here the role would be the open source mono would be the main global orchestrator, and the Mac, or like we called it Meow, will be kind of at the edge, orchestrating stuff at the edge. The solution that we are using for on the Mac side is this Fog 5. This is an Eclipse project. This software, this tool is very much oriented for the fog, deployment, which is distributed at the edge, but Mac is more centralized at the edge. So we are enhancing this tool to be compliant with the HC Mac specifications they have done. So that's what I said. What UVI was the other day putting out there, the way they are putting together the NFO with this, we are along the same. We are very much aligned with them, the work we are doing here. The other point I would like to mention is a slice manager. So this guy, apart from having all the information of the slices, the schedule the slice, the main idea is if someone requests a slice with a certain amount of resources, we check to our infrastructure abstraction layer the resources available. If not available, it's a deny from there. So we cannot handle the request that you're doing. So we are just first come first base. So if your slice request is we can handle it. It goes through and further down. This is very important SLA manager for the neutral hosting to maintain the trust. Of course, fed very much by the monitoring and the information that we gather to see the different thresholds and KPIs are met. Resource placement. This is another one of the objectives, is like to see how do we optimize placement of VNFs in a given infrastructure. So we are working with working with NEC on different machine learning algorithms, getting information of a different resource compute and other resources we have. What will be the best thing? The two criteria that we are looking at is to optimize either your resource utilization or you're trying to optimize the performance. So there are two criteria we are looking into in order to deploy your VNFs here. Of course, the security we are considering it very much. This is a very key point in neutral host. I'll mention it's a big challenge. Dashboard. This is the next point in here. So this is like how we envision for infrastructure owner or the municipality. They will have COK. Like on this, this is actually a map in Barcelona. So you have your compute and what have you on the lamp, and on the side, different resources, how much they're consumed remaining and all. So they can keep an eye on, the resources they have consumed or available. This is for infrastructure management. So, and also we are planning into, creation of slices, other users, platforms, services you are managing. Now the SDK, we assume, there could be two kind of users for our SDK. One could be developers. They can really get into the code. But we're also envisioning users which just needs to drag and drop, and they have a concept and they would like to, check it out for this. So this is more for them, this view that I'm showing here over here, that they can, certain services which are made available through the catalog, and they can, try and test it. So this is the example I'm putting out for city of Lucca. This is the actual, the layout we have in the city, and this is the network diagram. So this is a very interesting example. City of Lucca is a small city, and their city center, the old town. So culturally, and now with the restrictions, it's not allowed to do any more work over there. So nobody can hang anything more on that part. But on the other side, in summers, there are a lot of festivals. And hundreds and thousands of people, they come down in those small streets. And they had a problem. They said people usually complain they can't even upload an Instagram photo. It gets so congested. This is one thing that we learned. Another thing they're running their city services. Surveillance is one, and they had a big problem of illegal waste dumping. People just come and throw the trash. So they want to detect as quick as possible through the surveillance. So what we're doing with them is like, so they were pretty motivated. So they're investing. They're already laying down the fiber. They're buying the small cells, hanging it up there, and the Wi-Fi. So this municipality is now, putting in the investment now, because what they foresee is like it will enhance their city services for sure. Because now what we're looking at is the camera, the new cameras we bought, and the edge servers we're putting on the edge. Is like we detect with the machine learning algorithms again any illegal trash dumping, and then alarms are directly sent to the police or the municipality. So this is kind of a good, for it increases reduces the response time. And then again, an operator on board in the consortium, Windtree, is also very much interested. They will say, okay, we will reuse our slides within this city center when the festivals are, so we can give enhanced services to our users over there. So this is a very good use case we have in. Okay, the main challenges. So I put it very briefly. I didn't put it in a complex manner. Organizational transformation. So this is a complete change of mindset for municipalities, and convincing them is, unless they have their own problems like Lucca did, they were already in for it. But let me give you the example of Barcelona. Although Barcelona is very much for the digital transformation and everything, but this, because you're entering a new market, a new business model and this stuff, and it's a big, the bigger the elephant, the slower it moves. So they have to take policy decisions and all, and it slows down things. So what we see is for neutral hosting, this is a big challenge, convincing, because if they are convinced they're going to make the initial investment required, then you leverage on the neutral host platform and do stuff. Business modeling, for example, like, okay, fine, municipality, but they don't go into spectrum. They don't own spectrums. So if you go and you want to roll out a service, how would that? So spectrum brokering, all other different these methods could be debated about. What we're doing in the project, we have all stakeholders there, and we are working on it. But the thing is, like, Lucca case is different from the Barcelona case. Their priorities are different. Barcelona is looking another way. They have their own plan. As you can imagine, cities have their own long-term these transformation plans. So this we see as well, because like our colleague from BT mentioned, that the business is where where the money comes and the things goes forward. And technically, what we see the challenge as is the security, privacy, performance. So the kind of isolation we're looking for in terms of resources, in terms of performance. So if someone says, hey, I want guarantee that my slice is not impacted by the other slices, how do we really ensure them that it's gonna, they will not be impacted by others? Interferences, we're hanging the small cells next to the Wi-Fi LANs and others. So how much impact we have in terms of that. So we are running tests, doing, defining KPIs and trying to meet those within this project. So in a nutshell, this is what we foresee as the main challenges. So technically, we can solve. There's like far better solutions I heard from the industry. But the main challenges remain the top two ones that I put over there. My conclusion, so it's an opportunity for the municipalities. This 5G neutral hosting, they're already going in for a certain amount of investment, a bit more a step ahead, and they can really leverage and increase their return on investment. Technical as this, and there's no one business model that fits all, the cities. Okay, there's a perfect solution, everyone goes for it. No, it doesn't. It's not this. Every city has their own. Very quickly, this is a consortium we had. As you see, we have some municipalities, which is coordinated by i2CAT, this project, and the technical managership with the NEC. This project ends in 2019, which means by November 2019, we will be doing live demonstrations in these 3 cities. We will be doing our demos in i2CAT 2018, coming in December in Vienna, and also in the Mobile World Congress 2019. So if you're coming there, look for us. We'll be there with our demos over there as well. So another quick point. I think we're already over time, I guess. So, well, the use cases that you see, one was surveillance. Very much, we have a lot of media. You see industry with us, RAI, MOG, Barcelona television. So the use cases that we have in different cities are different, but they're very much media oriented. If you need more details, we can talk in the refreshment break or something. Well, that's all I had for this presentation. Thank you for your attention.